We've been working with this kinematic equation for a minute. This is the third one. Can someone remind me what each variable is? What is this part of the variable right here? So what kind of velocity is it? We got to be more specific.
Final velocity.
So that's final velocity. What about this part? What is that part of the equation?
Initial velocity.
Okay, initial velocity. What about this part? That's an A.
2 times acceleration.
Okay, 2 times acceleration. What about this part that's just an X?
Final position.
Final position. I'm only hearing one person thus far. And someone else, this last part.
Starting position.
Starting position. Good. So that means you know exactly each part of the variable that's important. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working through one problem at a time. We've already kind of done these problems in the past. The one I want to focus on today will be this one. Okay, a drop fall. So we're going to work on this step by step. You guys ready? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is all we have to work with. This is it. It's not even a lot of information, is it? Technically speaking, if you look at it, it's not a lot, is it? No, it's not a lot to work with, but it's what you can use it. You can work with it. And how you work with it determines on what you already know so far. If you don't know a lot because you A, haven't listened, B, haven't taken notes, or C, haven't asked questions, then this will be difficult for you. If you have been doing what you need to do to, again, taking accountability to your learning and to your understanding, this will make sense. So before I even read it, I want you to take a moment and read it to yourself and think, what makes sense to me already? So do that now. Take a moment, read it, and think, what makes sense to me already? Because when you speak, it helps you understand better. No, keep going. You guys are all doing fine. I'm hearing every single person. Go ahead.
Derivation is negative 8.0.
Okay, how did you get negative 8.0? How did you get the acceleration?
No.
Okay.
No, it's negative 9.8. I'm sorry.
Oh, how did you come to the conclusion of the acceleration being negative 9.8 when it's not really given to you?
Because if a ball drops, yeah, it's falling.
Because something is falling. And what do you know when things fall? What do you know about that?
It's negative.
Gravity.
Gravity is working against it or with it for it to be falling, for it to drop, for you to trip over your own foot and hit the ground. Gravity is exactly the cause of it. Good. So that means you have the background knowledge of gravity and you'll understand gravity at a constant acceleration. What other information do you know based on what you see?
You need to find the final speed.
How do you know we have to find the final speed? And what is that?
Because it says what is its final speed.
Good. It's simple. It's right in front of your face. So that means find the final speed is going to be our bigger what? It's going to be our bigger... So finding the final speed is going to be our bigger picture. That's what we're solving for. We have no idea, but now we know exactly what the equation is going to look like when we're completed. It's going to say VF equals. So far, are we following? Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
What other facts can you pull from this now? Take a step back into your past understanding. What else do you know? Because even if it's not in blank in front of your face, even if it's not written and highlighted, there is still an important fact beyond these words that do help you understand a few more parts of this equation.
XO is 0.
How do you come to the conclusion that the starting position is going to be 0?
Because it doesn't say it.
So?
I don't know.
Okay. But it's good that you know that.
Because-
Let's go deeper than that. I want you to go deeper than it doesn't say it. Use some critical thinking words.
Negative 0.8 is XF because after it falls, like it stays on the ground.
Well, we said
That's
negative
fine.
negative 0.8, you said is XF?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you said, can you repeat that logic again, please?
because it says after it falls, like it says when it falls, and then after it falls, it doesn't go anywhere. That's its final position.
Okay, are we all agreeing that the final position is -8?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I
Okay,
agree.
are you sure you agree? Because I don't want you to say I agree, but don't understand why. Because saying I agree is one thing, understanding why you agree is a whole different part. So do you understand why you are agreeing right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the reason?
Do you want to explain the reason again so she can make sure she understands why she's agreeing?
It doesn't go anywhere. That's its final position.
She's saying after the ball has fallen, that's it. That's the distance it had to have traveled. Does that make sense to everybody else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what other facts, even if again it's not written in black and white, but it's still there, can you pull from this sentence? Go back into outside knowledge now. Don't just look within the words, look beyond it. What else can you pull out? What other information can you definitely say, I know this? Okay, why do you think the initial position will be 0, the starting position is 0? Let's dive into that. What makes you say that it must have started from 0?
Because it was dropped.
Okay, tell me more. What about it being dropped?
And it also doesn't mention it in the problem.
Okay, does it mention the problem it's being dropped? Tell me more though. Think about yourself doing that same thing and what you will be going through physically.
Initial position could be 0 because, like, it says a ball has dropped, right? So in order to drop, it has to be, like, on top of something.
Okay, before it dropped, it must have been on top of something. When someone want to build into that logic, because that we're getting a little warmer. Keep going. Okay, it has to have a starting point. The starting point is 0. In addition to that, like you guys were saying, before the ball has to drop, it had to be at a 0 point, which means it wasn't moving, right? It was not moving before dropping. There's no way. Okay, it was not moving before dropping. So if it was not moving before dropping, we know the starting position is 0. And what else do we know?
Starting point.
Yes, because it's a starting point. And another reason, just so for those who can't explain it, if before the ball is dropped, is it moving anywhere? Do we know that fact?
No.
Okay, so we don't even know what the ball was doing before it was dropped. How can we then say it was moving? We can then make the assumption that it wasn't moving because for me to drop the ball, what do I have to do with the ball in my hand?
Hold it.
You gotta hold it. How you gonna drop something you never held? I mean, that's basic knowledge. How will you drop something you never held? If you're holding it, it's at 0 and it's not moving. And then you let go. So far, does that help and make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. To find variables, I want you guys to understand, I will be putting this video up, but to find variables, sometimes this is all you have to work with. And you do have to go deeper than that. You really do. Because XO and VO was not really given to us. Even A wasn't really given to us. You gotta go deeper. You have to use the words given to you and then play it back from that moment. So right here, this ball dropping is one moment. So you have to be able to play it back and say, okay, well, what would I be doing before a ball drops? Does that help a little bit?
Yeah.